Welcome to PPR podcast number 76 on Gala Night, no less. It's brought to you by Renovation to Realty. My name is Paul. Your name is?
Bert.
Who would you like to introduce?
Hey, Coach THADD MacNeil from Carlsbad.
Coach, thank you for joining us on what is a very busy day here at KUSI. Has the stung of it all, does it wear off right away, or is that something that just lingers and lingers and lingers as we look back on that showdown at the Snapdragon?
It definitely lingers. You know, me as a coach, I can for sure remember the tough losses more than the great wins. And this one especially was a tough one, you know, being in the championship game and leading in the fourth quarter and then giving up that lead to lose to a pretty talented football team. So, yeah, it will take a while, but the sun came up. And we're on to the next challenge for sure.
Well, isn't that part of the experience of what really high school football is about? I know it's X's and O's and trying to get kids to be the best athletes they can be, but aren't the life lessons that are being taught as dealing with moments just like this? Because no matter who you are, you're going to have to deal with defeat somewhere in your life, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, our guys are learning as they go. They're going through great experiences. This was a new group. Losing a tough game under a pretty big stage is always humbling. And, you know, what choice do you have? you gotta learn from it and keep going.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me, I think I said it that night on PPR, was, you know, that in the fourth quarter, if I was going to have a lead, there's probably two defenses I would think I'd want in the entire county. It would either be Lincoln or yours. I think that was the crazy part to me about it. I mean, both y'all just started scoring out of nowhere, like towards the end.
Well, more so them than us, unfortunately. But yeah, our defense had played tremendous all season long. They were just outstanding. And in that fourth quarter, we gave us some big plays. Obviously, you give credit to them. They made the plays when they had to, and we didn't make the stops when we had to. So that's how it went down.
Last question on that particular topic. I always look at game tape or whatever and think, okay, if I could, life game tape, if I could make an interview better, or if I could ask a question differently, or if I could do anything in my day differently, what would I do? So, Coach, when you look at the game tape, which I'm assuming...
You must look at a lot of tape to get back.
Coach, when you look at those at the video, is there a moment, a call that you wish you could have back, or something you wish just went a little differently?
Well, 100%. You go through a game, and even in wins, I look back, and I'm our play caller on offense, so it always falls on me when we don't score enough points to win the game. And there's a myriad of different plays and scenarios that I would do different. And then there were some that I thought were great calls, and they made great plays against it. So, you know, you move forward, you learn from it. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to get better each and every season, and hopefully in the next situation when that comes about, I'll be better and get our guys more prepared.
What'd you think of Snapdragon? I mean, I get mixed reviews. It seems like the fans were so on it, and everybody involved on the field loved it. What'd you guys experience?
We loved it. I mean, walking into that stadium, brand new, we felt privileged and we felt blessed to be there. I thought the crowd was great. You know, Carlsbad always travels, and it looked like Lincoln brought theirs as well. It's only going to grow and get better. You know, we had a great experience. Having the crowd on the other side was a little bit different, but it had no bearing on the football game, that's for sure.
Well, maybe that game gets so big that you need both. Maybe you need the whole lower bowl.
Yeah, and it was hard. I mean, that was a great crowd, even considering all the other teams were playing that night.
100%. You know, in our championship game last year at Escondido, it overflowed, and they just couldn't hold an open game there as far as the crowd. But, yeah, eventually I'm hoping it's going to grow. When I was an assistant at Los Alamitos, we played Mater Dei in the finals, and we had 25,000. So, you know, those crowds are fun. That's what everyone looks forward to, and, you know, I think it's going to build at Snapdragon.
You've been knocking on this open division door now for a few years. You're young. I mean, it won't be out of the foreseeable consideration that you could be right back there a year from now, right? Especially with the kid you have at quarterback.
Yeah, you never take anything for granted. We don't just think we're going to run it back. It takes a lot of work to get there, as we know. I've been coaching for a long time, and just getting to the championship and getting through the Avocado League is such a tremendous, journey. But we've been fortunate. We've won the Avocado League 4 years in a row. We've been to that Open Division Finals 3 years in a row against 3 different teams, but Carlsbad's still there. But we start all over. All those teams, everyone is going to have positive, hopes for their future, and we're the same. But with Julian Sayin coming back, he's obviously a fantastic player. And, a lot of people know from this team, we only returned 5 starters on this current team. And halfway through the season, we lost 2 of them to season-ending injuries. So we're fairly young. A lot of hard work and dedication, and hopefully we'll be right there.
It seems like you get, like the last 2 years, you get the generational Cathedral team you got to play against, then you get this generational Lincoln team you got to play against. That's just a bad draw right off the bat.
Bad luck.
You could argue this was a generational Carlsbad. We were winning in the fourth quarter, and everyone had Lincoln. Bert, you've been pretty advocate for them the whole season, and them being number 1. And they are really, really talented. But at the end of the day, we were right there with them. It was a great game. They had some fantastic players, and our guys matched up just fine.
So what does a high school football coach do now? You gather up the gear, you count heads, you see who's coming back. Do you have even a moment to say, all right, I'm not going to look at another high school football player for a couple weeks, or is the desire to just amp it up and get it going again?
It's a little bit of both. I like to get away from it for sure. I've seen our film a couple times. I had to do the stats and things like that. But I'll be somewhat curious with the Division I game, D2 game, and those. I'll be curious with the Southern Section Mater Dei Bosco game. And, I'll give the kids some time off, and then we go back to work, really. Our kids are already anxious. So that's just kind of how we roll there. It doesn't stop. I'm the only one on campus at my high school, so I really can't get away from it. Our program just goes really year-round.
So, there's spring, right?
That's your question?
No, there are spring workouts,
better watch
right?
tape tonight.
Yeah, so we'll go fall. We'll go our fall, winter workouts that will lead to spring, which will lead to summer, which will lead to fall.
So it's literally year-round.
It's year-round, Paul. It doesn't stop. We're not a program that's going to just wait till spring football to get it rolling again. We'll go right back to work and try to be there in the championship at the end.
Wow.
So you played Inglewood and you've played Lincoln. Give me a preview of what that game would look like.
Wow. They're very similar. Extremely talented all over the place. Really big guys, well coached. I think it'd be a great football game, seeing them both. I'm telling you, they're eerily very, very similar. Inglewood has their strength schedule is probably a little stronger, and they haven't lost and really haven't any close games. I think our game might have been the closest with them, but that'd be a fun matchup if that's how it works out.
And it's Gala night. You want to ask him some Gala questions? We should ask him some of his favorite. Oh, I want to ask you a question. You have one of my favorite players there, Cassius Murphy. Is he going to play in college?
Cassius wants to play in college. We're going to find a place for him. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in our league. He was under the radar really all season. We knew how good he was. He was one of the 5 returning starters. We only had 2 on defense, him being one of them. He's about 6'2", 6'1 and a half, 6'2". He's about 240, but he plays inside and outside. I think he has the quickest step in the county for sure. He's a pretty good student. He's around a 3.5, so we're gonna find a spot for him.
Good.
Coach, did you cast your ballot for Player of the Year on the PPR Silver Pigskin podium?
I did for sure.
Can you tell us who you voted for?
Well, it's Julian Sayin 100%. He's the best player in the county, if not the country. However, everyone on there are some great players on there. And seeing Rod firsthand, I've seen a ton of film on him, and then seeing him in person, and he was hurt in our game, and we all recognize that. He's just so impressive. I've been around for a long time, so he reminded me of like Darren Norris from El Camino. This goes way back. Or Earl Campbell. I mean, his thighs, his whole physique is pretty impressive. The guy's a stud.
Yeah, that's the crazy part people don't realize, and I brought it up a few times. I mean, he's a high school kid, and he's literally the size of Bo Jackson in his prime or Herschel Walker in their prime. I mean, just big, strong, fast backs. I mean, I wouldn't want to tackle him in high school.
No, it looks like it would hurt.
Or now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't see guys like that in high school.
No, he's an absolute beast. I thought we did a pretty good job corralling him, just really trying to gang tackle him and hold on. He's just so darn physical and strong. And he's a really humble, hardworking kid. I think he's going to do great things at the University of Georgia.
Should we ask him another award?
Sure.
Who'd you vote for Defense Player of the Year?
So who was on there? Take me back. Was PV on there, obviously?
I think Josiah Cox was from Lincoln, if you're...
Was PV on? I think PV was on there, too.
And I know Trey Edwards from Mater Dei was on there. Don't ask. Coach, I'm so brain dead at this point in the season. I
want to say, Trey Edwards didn't get to play against us, but I know what fantastic player he is as well. It could have been Trey, or I really liked PV, the DN from Lincoln. I thought those two had great senior years.
Yes.
And happy for the Trey Edwards kid to come back after his injury.
Hey, can I ask a question? Because that was the second week of the season, right? It was a game of the week. And you guys, that game with Mater Dei was quite the tussle. But can I take you back to the overtime play that you scored the winning 2-point conversion on? You guys jumped the snap, did you not?
We did.
So let me ask you a question on that. We all saw you jump the snap, but there was no penalty. Do you make that kid run in practice that week and punish him for jumping even though no penalty was called?
Let's backtrack a little bit. That's a 2-point play that we work on. People don't forget that on one of their scores in the overtime, they jumped as well. Also during the overtime, they fumbled and we didn't get the recovery. Nobody talked about that one. But yes, we did jump on that last play. He was, we do punishments or opportunities. We call them for all our penalties. So, what's up with that for sure.
Even without a flag, you made him do the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. We try to play so disciplined. We kind of pride ourselves on that. And that was, that could, those little moments, we felt very blessed that it didn't get called, so it worked out.
Well, that was just a great game.
It really was. That Mater Dei team, that'll be a good final with them in Mission. I'm rooting for Mission. I really like their coaching staff and them being in our league. I am rooting for Mission, but seeing Mater Dei firsthand with that type of personnel they have and the quarterback playmaking ability out of the pocket, extending plays. I think it's a tough matchup for Mission, but who knows? Maybe they're going to pull the upset.
You brought up Chris Hauser. He was on the podcast prior to you, or the one we did last week, and we asked him how do you want your legacy to read? And I thought he got for as emotional as he's going to get on podcasts, I thought he got a little emotional talking about how he wants to be remembered as a ball coach who's kind of a straight-up guy. So it was an effective question. So I want to ask you, Thad, how do you want to be remembered as a football coach?
Wow, getting deep here. I want to kids know I cared about them. Try to make great impact on them. Try to teach them life lessons. We try to talk about discipline, toughness, and work ethic in our program, and handling adversity the right way, and then at the end, hopefully winning a lot of football games. I'm really lucky. I went to Carlsbad High School. I met my wife there. I have a senior this year playing football. He's done, and then I have a freshman that's coming up.
Wow.
My daughter also graduated from Carlsbad. So it's definitely a family affair, and I've been able to coach at the high school I love and care a lot about. So, really the most important thing for me is it's about people, and I hope our kids have a great feeling about playing in our program, and they know that Coach Mack cared for them and loved them.
Great.
I'm gonna sound like I'm superficial now. So out of the open team, how many kids are coming back next year? I'm sorry, I don't get into emotional stuff like him. I'm sorry, Thad. He does this all. He tries to make people cry because he feels powerful.
No, I don't.
You should apologize.
That's
Coach
my
Halper.
favorite soundbite of the interview so far. So please.
All right. Well, if you noticed on social media, he only posts his questions. He never posts mine. That's the way he is.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
Let's not fight here.
All right.
We got how many guys are coming back, Bert? Is that what you asked?
Out of the game from 2 weeks ago.
So we got, not counting the kickers, 16, and then both the punter and the place kicker come back. So we got some pieces for sure. You guys put us way down in the county like usual, and we'll just fight our way back. But yeah, we're gonna be fine.
Along those lines, it seems like the high school is going the way of college, with the kids moving around a little bit more freely than they ever did when I first came to town. Are there the possibilities of another Michigan-bound tight end showing up on your campus?
Well, I hope so. The thing at Carlsbad is what a lot of people don't know. You have to live in the district. We do not take inter-district transfers. Zach Marshall lived in the Carlsbad district for 22 years. And then transferred his senior year. So, and then, everyone asked why he had to sit out. And I said, because we follow the rules. We didn't do any bogus addresses and anything that was not the right way. And so he sat out and he got to play. But, if you're a young player and you want to play competitive football at a high level and play with the number one quarterback in the nation, I think it's a great spot, and we got a bunch of great players that will surround him. But we just don't, Rudy. We don't get very many transfers. It just doesn't happen very often. When we do, we feel really, really lucky and blessed. But
is that a geography thing? Do you think, just because you're so far north?
I think it's our academics is as good as anyone. I think you have to live in that zip code, and that zip code possibly could be challenging for some people, but not impossible because people do it. But the other schools around us, they take inter-district transfers, and so they just have a little bit of advantage in that it's just easier for them to get players in.
And that's part of the reason I don't rank you guys high, because I'm bitter because I can't afford to live there. That's part of it.
Well, I mean, Coach, it is a beautiful place to live. There's just no denying it. I mean,
it's pretty special.
Yeah.
And then the home game atmosphere. Bert was at the Poway game,
yeah.
and we basically sell out every single game. It's standing room only. Our loud crowd, led by Jeff Riccatelli, our ASB director. They just do an incredible job. So it's just a fun place to be on a Friday night amid the palm trees and the sunset. It's pretty fun.
I think your student section is up for best student section on the PPR later tonight. So we'll see how that vote goes.
I don't know. Bert, have you seen a better high school atmosphere in San Diego?
No, not even close, actually.
It's tough, man. I see some good ones, but if you're at our place, it's just a little bit different. It's fun. So I can't wait. What do you guys? Bert? Who's your pick for Mission Hills and Mater Dei?
They already played. Remember, this is going next week.
Oh yeah.
Mater Dei won the game. You didn't see?
But can I? Because we're 18 minutes into this interview and we haven't talked about
what
Julian Sayin. I mean,
all right. Let me ask you a question on that, because this is probably. I'm sure it's BS, but there's weird corners of the internet that say he's going to sit out his senior year and go, where, that's not a possibility, is it?
It is not. Number one, Julian is at the core. He's just a really, really old school player. He wants to experience his high school. as much as he can. He's going to leave it the semester. He's going to do the early enrollee of his senior year. And then at Carlsbad, it's really hard to graduate early. So he wasn't in a position to do that, or no, we never even talked about it. Never talked about it with his parents or him. People say a lot of rumors, but just not true.
And all right, one more.
Oh, sure.
Not that you're speaking for him, but when you commit as a junior year, at least 50 of those kids end up flipping last minute. Do you think that's even a possibility?
Well, you never say never, but with him, this guy is very intent. He knows what he wants. He's a driven machine. He has set a bar in our program that is exceptional. I think his word is very, very. A lot of thought and consideration went into that decision to go to University of Alabama. I would not see Julian Sayin flip-flopping on that decision. I think it's pretty set in stone.
It is a pretty.
It's hard to beat them out.
But the problem with that is that because we know about Julian Sayin because he's in our backyard, but there are a lot of good high school quarterbacks out there that we don't know about, and they all end up at the same school at Alabama. They will recruit another high-rated quarterback next year and the year after. So, he is stepping into another pressure cooker, is he not?
Well, at that level, it's going to be that way every year. He knows that. And, I've always told him the same thing. The next year will be the next Julian Sayin, and the next year. And that's what they're supposed to do. That's their job. The great thing about him, he never asks during this recruiting process. He never asks the coaches about who they're recruiting, who's in the room. Julian has the attitude, I'll go there, I'll beat that guy out, I'm going to be the starter. This is how it's going to roll. He's a very, very confident kid in his abilities. And he doesn't get all caught up in some of the details of the recruiting of the outside. You understand, just the way you said, it's whether it's Archie Manning or Julian Sayin, the next great player will be at the University of Alabama. That's their job.
And historically, everybody's got 4 or 5 stars there. It's their recruiting machine is incredible.
And Julian's probably better than Mac Jones right now. To be honest with you, but you make a good point. Because these kids that are that special, they looking past college. They want to go to the pros, and if you're scared of anybody's room in college, you're not going to the pros. So it just has to be, I'm that good. I don't really care who comes here. If you know 100%. What I mean.
Yeah, 100%. And you played at a high level, so at that level, at the high school level, especially you go to college, especially you go to a Power 5 school, you go to a national power like Alabama, you can't be insecure. You got to be confident, and you can't be afraid of competition. That's one thing about that we all love about Julian. He loves to compete. That's another reason why there's no way he would leave after what happened to this season. That guy is going to become more driven. He's got something to prove. He didn't like the way the season ended, as all of us did not. And so that will fuel him once again. When he gets to Alabama, he's going to be fueled again to compete and start for Coach Saban.
Coach Brady's impact on Julian, can you speak to that a little bit?
Honestly, Coach Brady has been a friend of mine. I got to know him a little bit. He lives in town. He was kind of my eyes in the sky on Friday night. So not really there daily, but having another set of eyes, another intelligent football coach on our staff really helped. Our quarterback is our official quarterback coach is Christian Chapman, who is a 3-year starter for me and 3-year starter at San Diego State. As you guys know, most winningest quarterback in San Diego State history. So he coaches the quarterbacks. Of course, my footprint's on that as well.
Could you brag on your staff a little bit? Because you've assembled quite the staff, have you not?
I got great guys for sure. It starts with our D coordinator is Paul Publico. He played for me at Los Alamitos. And if you watch our defenses the last 3 years, it's under his guidance. We've done really, really well there. So I can trust those guys. I have a loyal set of dudes. I have a D-line coach that played for me as well. We have probably half the staff played at Carlsbad, so they believe.
That's amazing.
Brett Swain, our receiver coach, kind of a San Diego legend as far as playing at San Diego State, playing for the Green Bay Packers. Him and I love to bounce ideas off each other. We speak the same language, part of the West Coast kind of family, that West Coast offense. And then Christian playing for me, and then being able to play in the college level. We got great rapport on the offense. It's a ton of fun. I got some young coaches, Coach Katz, Coach Inman, Coach Hike, Coach Campa, Coach Guttridge, Coach Wynn, Troy Thomas, the head coach at Servite. His brother Lance Thomas is on our side, or on our staff. So I'm very, very blessed, Paul. I got a great group of men trying to mentor these dudes, teach them football, but teach them how to be respectful, disciplined, trying to do it the right way.
You bring up Servite, obviously 3 big Trinity League schools, open jobs. Does any of that ever interest you?
I
mean, Modern Day's paying $350,000 a year.
Yeah, they don't. Number one, they don't pay $350,000. That's
Hauser's lying to me.
Highly exaggerated. I was in Orange County for 15 years. Played Mater Dei, played Servite, never played Sarah, Bishop Amat, Loyola, Long Beach Poly. I know those schools very well. I know people at Mater Dei. You never say never, but I'm pretty happy at Carlsbad.
Let's play a game.
Sure.
Say you did get the Mater Dei job. Would Julian transfer there next year?
No.
Would that be part of the package?
I think for Mater Dei, it'd be part of the package, but not for Julian. Julian bleeds purple, man. He wants to win a CIF championship for Carlsbad. So I would probably have to go solo without Julian. But, I don't think that's in the cards right now.
Well, I share your respect for your quarterback. He impressed me in his seriousness and in his team first attitude. I don't think it was a put on. It was just authentic. And as somebody who's around kids as much as you are, Coach, I was impressed by that. Listen, we've kept you for 26.
Hold up, and me, one more thing. Me being from Philly, I saw his brother just won the Ivy League. Didn't he just beat Princeton?
Oh, let's go, bro. Yes.
I'm from Philly. I got my Flyers on. Come on.
Hey, man. So, yeah, Aiden, people forget, we in 2019, he's a junior. We go to the CIF championship, the open division against Helix. He's the player of the year. He had a great junior year. And then senior year was the COVID. We went undefeated. We were beating people by 40 points. He was tearing it up. And then he had some opportunities, but Penn was probably the best for him. He got into the Wharton School of Business and took over starting into his freshman year. And then this year as a sophomore, they go 8-2, and they beat Princeton to finish the year. He had an incredible season. Aiden Sayin is a fantastic quarterback, man. Him and Julian have some good battles together, and they push each other. But, wow, those Sayin brothers are fantastic.
Aiden could run the books for Julian.
Well, when they're our age, Aiden's going to pull out the Wharton UPenn, and he's going to pull out the Alabama, and then he's going to,
Either way, we come up looking bad.
Yeah, we look bad.
Coach, as we wrap this up, Bert and I, our mom and dad, we have our son who we don't want him to play football. The kid wants to play football. Tell us how that conversation goes as parents. I get it. It's a dangerous sport.
Are you the mom or the dad?
I'll be whatever.
Right.
But Coach, you know where I'm going with this. I want to know, because I ask this question a lot of coaches, because I get it asked a lot. How do you address that? Parents have a legitimate safety concern. What do you say?
Well, I think football's the safest it's ever been. Our concussion rate is very, very low. It's almost, people talk about it, but not the way they did probably 5 years ago. The technologies with the helmet has really advanced. The way we play the game now, the way the refs call it, you just can't lead with your head. And I think that stopped a lot of big collisions. And then in practice, you just don't hit as much. You just don't. And so, I have more kids, and this is the honest truth, that get hurt outside of football than they do in football. And if you watch our program, most of our kids, not most, but a high percentage go both ways. How are we able to do that, go both ways in our league, in our division, and play physical football and not have injuries? Well, I think the game's changed, and it has to do with the game, and then it has to do with how you train. I think if coaches train the right way, players will be prepared, a little bit more durable. And I feel very good about both my sons playing football, even though it is a very, very violent game. But if it's their passion and their love, you can't stop them.
Hey, how much time do you spend at the pizza shop?
Not enough. That place is, we love that pizza place. It's been there since 1978. As a kid, I went in there after Little League baseball games and basketball and football. And I have 3 other partners, Chris Sharapa, John Chavez, and Troy Guerra, all Carlsbad grads, played football with me at Carlsbad. And we just didn't want to see that thing die. So come on in. I'd like to have you both. I'll treat you. Have a cold one. Have a large pizza. Watch some Pittsburgh Pirates or Steelers or whatever. And it'd be awesome.
That was the best viewing party of the year at your pizza place. That pizza shop.
You got to come back. Yeah, it was a really fun time.
Yeah, we'll do that again. We'll make that an annual stop because that atmosphere was electric, and you guys, John Duran just had a hoot. All right, Coach. Well, we'll see you tonight at the gala, and thank you for making time for us.
Thanks for having me. You guys do such a good job. I know it's not a perfect science what you do, man, but gosh, San Diego is
He
so
picked
lucky.
Poway, for the love of God.
Yeah, Poway.
I don't know
wrong
what your
with you?
voicemail's like, Coach, but boy, this time of year, I can't even listen to it because why did you pick this player? I mean, it's impossible, and I get it. There's so many good players that, and then you always second guess yourself because, ever since Chris Olave, I've lost all confidence in my ability to put the right people in the right places. But
yeah, the Chris Olave one's going to haunt you a little bit. Who knows about the Thomas brothers? Cam and Zach, Christian Chapman, Troy Cassidy. How about Jordan Perez? How about Asa Turner?
Wow.
Carlsbad has a list too for you guys as well.
Oh, I know, and it dates all the way back to Arian Foster. The NFL Player of the Year didn't somehow win.
Good
Coach,
Lord.
you know what? The beauty of it is,
More than anything, there's a lot of great players in San Diego, and I know you guys try to represent them all. So at least we can say some talent's coming out of our county.
and it's been an honor to be involved in it, even from a distance as a media member. The cool thing about the PPR is I've got to have a front row seat for a lot of these athletes, and it's been a thrill of a lifetime, as I'm sure it is for you, sir.
Oh, 100%. And we'll be. It's a great night. You guys do such a great job of that production. Pretty awesome. Thank you very much.
We'll see you then, okay?
Thanks, Coach.
All right, the podcast is over. Turn off the machines.